The first thing we're doing is creating a video in the free version. Once you've properly sized of what you want to record, you see down here it says record. Now whatever I say is going to be recorded. In this case, all it does is just copy this. If I were doing a tutorial, I might be opening other things. I might have a PowerPoint open where I'm recording the actual different screens in a PowerPoint presentations and doing narration. But anything I do now is being recorded. Once I'm finished, or once I want to pause it, you pause it. And then at this point, if you hit record, you continue where you left off. If this is all you want to do, then you select done. Now you have some choices. Save and upload, do a quick share, and that goes to your Screencast-O-Matic account, or you can edit, but we're using the free version. So when you use the free version, go ahead and click this and watch what happens. Unlock easy video editing. In other words, you cannot edit if you're using the free version. You can share it, you can save it, you can upload it, but you cannot edit. That's why I said in the free version, be careful, because if you make mistakes, there's no way to edit it in the free version. The program doesn't cost a whole lot. It's not like we're talking about a fortune. It's $1 something per month or $14.95 for the year. So we're not talking about a whole lot of money that you're going to spend on this thing. But once you purchase it, then of course you can do edits on those videos, and you can wind up sending really professional looking stuff up to the internet, or share it with your friends, or share it with your group, with your computer club. So in this case, I'm not going to do anything as far as sending it to YouTube or to Screencast-O-Matic or to a video file, because I already made a demo this morning that we're going to work on as far as editing when I change back to the other machine where I have the pro version. I'm going to get out of this, delete it. Now, one other thing in here is you can do screen capture. The first thing we want to do is to create a shortcut key to make screen capture easier. Set up shortcut, open screen shot selection, and we'll set it up for Control and 1. That's it. I can close this. Now, when I hit Control and 1, you notice here, I can now select. Whatever I select, it automatically captures that screenshot that I just took. From here, I can edit it. This is the edit button, or I can save it, or I can publish it on the internet, my Screencast-O-Matic account. We're going to first go into it and do some editing. Click this. Here's the screenshot. From here, we can crop the size, and that's very simple. This is the actual size, but if I don't like it, I bring it down, highlight this, and now I can make it any size I want. How about 500? And it automatically adjusts the other part of it so that you keep the aspect ratio. And I got to apply. Now we made the picture smaller, because some places you have size restrictions. Your picture can't be larger than a certain size. Well, if you've taken a great big screenshot and you still want to be able to share it, then you just reduce its size to whatever they allow. You can also add things like arrows. You can do text. This, whoops, learn to type. Since I used an arrow, I don't want this to be here, so I just bring it over. Now, I want to move this. This is done. I want to move this. Whoops, put it over here. The arrow twice. So now this is me, and there's the arrow. Okay, you can blur part of this. Suppose these folks are shy about being seen. So I can go ahead and do this and make them all blurry. At this point, I'm going to publish that picture because I may want to share it with some people. So I'll publish it. You have a choice. You can unlist it, you can password protect it, or you can do public. For our demonstration, I'm leaving this as public because I really don't care who sees this. Publish it. Now it automatically put the link to my Screencast-O-Matic account. So if I go onto the internet again, I can edit details. I can share it. I can move. I can delete. And if I share it, there's a direct link, customized link, which shortens that link, but it still winds up to the same place. Now, if I copy this, that takes me to the screenshot. When I do a tutorial where I want somebody just to see the picture itself, not to have to go to a different website to see it, the easiest thing for me to do is, this is the screenshot. If I right click on here, I can say copy the image address. If I do that, copy it and paste it into a blank tab in the browser, now this is the actual JPEG. So when you go there, you don't have all the garbage. You just have the actual picture. And if I'm doing support on the forum, you have to post the actual picture, not a website. And this is one way that you do that, by saving it as, or by saving the web address of the actual JPEG. Same picture, only now it doesn't have all the garbage that you have up there. It's just the actual picture. Does anyone have any questions on the free one? Or I'm going to go inside and change over, and we're going to have some fun with doing some editing.
Yeah, I have questions. This was the thing I was interested in, because I used to have a really good screen capture, and when I would be planning a trip and I would research different cities and activities and things going on, I would screen capture it and print it. And then I could write notes, like, you know, if I wanted to, on the other stuff that wasn't there, like how much admission cost or whatever. But printing, I don't want to have to go through a whole lot of, you know, once I capture it, I want to say be able to print it right there. I don't want to have to save it and do anything else. So I want you to cover the printing. And then also, is there a way?
You would have to save it in order to print it. You cannot print directly out of the screen capture.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's a lot of effort and time.
No, it's a second. When I get to the other computer, I'll show you exactly how, if you wanted to print this thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Then the other questions have to do with, is there an automatic way to click a selection, like, and say I want to be 5 by 7?
That's your size. That's your size.
But it doesn't have
now,
like a list where I can pick 8 by 10?
On your printing, if you're using Windows 10, Windows has it built in that you can print and you select your size. 5 by 7, 3 by 5, full sheet, 8 by 10. That's part of the printing process.
However, if I didn't capture it, let's say I captured it really long and skinny, then when I wanted an 8 by 10, then I would have had to lose a lot of the information in the picture because it's not the right shape. Whereas if at the beginning I picked an 8 by 10, then I know that I can print it as an 8 by 10 because I won't lose any information.
You can change the amount of the pixels. You can't say, well, make this a 5 by 10.
Have you, like yourself, made a list of I guess those are the pixels, the resolution, so that you can say, okay, this is small, this is medium, this is large file, this is, because the other one I had that's not available anymore, it had those choices even to like posting on the web, and I would know that this would be like a thumbprint size, this was very small, this was. Is there anything like that that lets me know, or I just have to play with it?
You'll have to play with it. And there's one other program we're going to cover which is a free one, and it has all those features in it for screen capture.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Let me get out of this. Okay. First of all, let me do a screenshot. That again for me is a Control-1. Okay, this is the picture we just took. Now, if I do a right click on that picture and select print, and this is, you'll find this when you do a right click. From here, you can now go full page, 4x6, 5x7, 8x10, 3x5s, wallet size, or contact sheet. Whatever you select, that's what's going to go to your printer. Susan, does that make sense to you?
You saved it first as a JPEG and then you could have put it in your with your photos instead of on your desktop. And
yeah, I put it on the desktop just for simplicity. Okay, but I could have put it into any folder. I could have put it in with my pictures. I could have put it into a special folder, anything I wanted. I chose where I wanted to put it.
But even on the paid version, you still had to save it before you could print it.
That's correct.
Okay.
There is no print. That's not one of the things. This is meant for sharing. This is not meant from within the application to do printing.
Okay.
Okay, let's change over to video editing in the paid version of Screencast-O-Matic. This is testing the free version of Screencast-O-Matic. It wasn't easy to actually get the free version launched since it wanted to keep my paid. I don't want to waste a whole lot of time going through this because we're going to import this into the editing portion of the paid version. So I want to open up Screencast-O-Matic's desktop user interface. In this case, I want to import, and it's on my desktop in a special folder. And this is the one that the test one that I imported. I want to edit this because it's got lots of mistakes in it, lots of pauses in it, and I want to add some stuff to it. So we select edit, and you can already see in here that there are lots of blank spaces. What I always do is, to make it easier to see, I magnify the timeline, and then now I can really see where all the blank spaces are, because it takes a while before it gets to it. What I want to do is, under the tools, select cut from the beginning. You drag this thing over to where you start with the actual, and then you can test to see what the difference is. This is testing the, and as you notice, there was no delay. We go right into the actual recording. That's okay. The free version of Screen. Version of Screencast-O. Again, you take out all the stuff that takes up all kinds of space. Cut, get rid of it. Now, by now, I've gotten used to it. I don't have to have this, preview to make sure that I didn't mess up. By now, I've used this often enough. I know what I've done is right. I can just go ahead and say, okay, so I don't have to go through that step. Until you get familiar with it, always check yourself. Launched, since it wanted to keep my... See, it's launched and it goes straight to the next part of this. You get rid of the dead stuff. And test and see what we can do with the free version. In the paid version, you can do other things. In your tools, oh, my tools are hiding underneath you guys. I can do things like narrate. I made a mistake in something and I want to change it. So I can just use the narrate, and wherever I did something wrong, I can go right over it and narrate with the correct stuff. I can overlay an image. I can blur something. I can add a shape, an arrow. I can highlight something. I can add text. I can paste pictures and other things. I can even add a video into this. In my case, what I was going to do here is insert something just for an example so you can see it. So I'm going to insert and be a new recording, an existing recording. I can add a pause. If I misspoke and I should have added a word in between here and the next part, I can select pause. And I have a choice of how long I want that pause to be. Default is 3 seconds. You may not realize it, but in 3 seconds, you can say a heck of a lot. So if I select 3 seconds, this is where it's going to insert it. It has inserted 3 seconds. If I want to see what it's saying here, we can do. It said we can do. So at this point, I can take over and go back to my tools, and I can say narrate. I select the spot that I want to narrate, which is this part that I inserted. Check to make sure that's the spot. What we can do with the free version. If I know that's right, then I can say start. Hit the record, and then I'll be saying what I want to add into that spot or not do. I'm done. Now, if I go here, we can do or not do with the free version. To clean it up, my tools, back to cut, get rid of the dead space. Whoops. What we can do or not do. Or not do with the free version. So now what looked like one thing turned into something else. And see what we can do or not do with the free version. There's some other goodies that you can do in the paid version. We can add music so it's not so boring, and it can be something I recently used. It can be my own music that I might have on my computer, or I can choose different types of music. Let's take the children's playing tag. I can select it by clicking on the box, but if I want to hear it, I just hit this and I can listen to see what it actually sounds like. That sounds good. So let me select it. Now it's adding it to my video. And now when I play the video, this is testing the free version of Screencast-O-Matic. It wasn't easy to actually get the free version launched since it wanted to keep my paid license no matter what I did. I had to totally uninstall. That's one of the things you can do with it. Any questions on the other end, please?
I have another question. When you're doing the initial video, your video and your audio are in sync.
Yes.
But you have used just a still picture the entire time, so it didn't matter and it didn't turn choppy if you cut out your dead space when you weren't speaking. But if you had that as a real video instead of just a screenshot kind of being used, then are they still in sync? And then if you cut out space where you were talking, then there's also it's making it choppy when you cut out the video part as well. How does that work?
I'll show you in a second. Let's get rid of this because we don't need it. Let's go with a new one. It really doesn't matter what it is. In this case, I'm going to do, and I can't do that in here because I'm using the cam. Oh yeah, it is there. Okay, webcam, HD Pro. No, let's use the integrated. Will that work? Yep. And let's make this bigger. Now's the time for all dummies to come to the aid of their party. That's the end of this little video. Going to edit it. Now's the time for all dummies to come to the aid of their party. Let's do some editing. Whoops, gotta move you guys over again because I can't see my tools. Cut. I want to get rid of the dead spot. This is all dead. For all dummies to come to the dummies. Yeah, well, dummies isn't what it's supposed to be, is it? Tools. In this case, I want to insert something because what I want to replace it with is not good enough. So I'm going to put in, insert a pause. Okay. Back to my tools. Narrate. The time for all. Good men. The time for all good men. And people always think that when you do a video, there's nothing to it. It's so fast, so easy, so quick. It only takes a minute to create a video. Yeah, it takes a minute to do the first cut, and then you spend 2 hours getting it to a point where you are satisfied with it. Now's the time for all good men to come to the aid of their party. What I could have done if I wanted this to really be professional, I would have just simply overlaid a new video with the part in here. And then you would have none of this, because there is going to be good men to come to the aid of their party. Okay, you see some in here, because remember, it's one track. And it's a sync of the two. Good men to come to the aid of their party. So where I added the good men, there will be some distortion. Good men to come to the aid of their party. In the overall scheme of the whole video, it is very unnoticeable. But if you want perfection, then you don't do what I just did, and that's just insert the audio. You would replace it with a new small video, because one of the tools that you can use for all good men to come to the aid in the insert is a video. You can insert a new recording. So I can pick any spot in here, and I can say in the tools, insert new recording. I will now make that new recording, and when it's finished, this is a new recording. Whatever I say is going to wind up as part of that new recording. Say done. And then it says insert will happen starting here. So the spot that I originally selected to insert is where that new video is going to be inserted. So if you have a spot where you want to actually add audio and video, and you don't want it to look like a chop job, this is what you would have to do. And you say, okay. And it now inserted that video exactly here. This is a new recording. Whatever I say is going to wind up as part of that new recording. Good men to come to the aid of their party. Did you understand that one, Susan?
Yes, thank you.
That's if you want total, utter perfection. But as I said, doing recordings and tutorials, the biggest part is the editing after you've done the tutorials. If you want perfection, if you don't want all the oohs and the ahs and your breathing and all the other stuff that happened during a recording, this is where the editing comes in. And the editing is the difference between a video that looks half good and that, you know, leaves something to be desired. Any questions?
Bob, back on that, when you was doing the photographs and resizing them, you had options of a contact sheet, 8x10 and so forth.
That's on the printing part.
Other size that you wanted, can you specify a size?
You can specify the total number of pixels. Let me go back to it. Done. And I don't want to save it. Let's save this baby. Okay. Let me move you out of the way, because otherwise it looks like, oh, wait a minute. No, there's your picture. Okay. This is the picture I just made. Now, you see here, this is 226 by 787. And here is where I can make a change. I can make it larger or I can make it smaller. This is the first one on here. This is your width and this is your height. So I can change, and they usually work together because otherwise your picture will look like garbage. So you always have to keep it in perspective. In resizing, so pick the width and the height will automatically adjust to keep everything in proportion. If it's not big enough, let's double it in size and make this 452. This automatically goes up. The picture still looks the same, but it's become larger. If I go to look at the picture itself, let me save it. There's the resized picture. Now, if we wanted to print this thing, let me go here. Go to the print. That's a full sheet. This is 4 by 6, 5 by 7, 8 by 10. Or you can also have 3 by 5s. And here I'm fitting the picture to the frame. I can also uncheck this, and that, of course, will change things. But you want to keep it within the size that you select. And this is part of Windows 10. You will have this when you do a right click on a picture.
Okay, thanks.
Any more questions? If you have no questions, I'll stop sharing my screen because we're at that magic hour anyway.
I take it you're ready for a break.
No, for me, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Although my coffee cup is empty.
Well, let's take about a 10-minute break and come back after 11.
Yep.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay, now I still have something else I want to show you after we come back, and that's what a finished video looks like. And at the same time, I'll also show you what's new in the latest version of Zoom, something new that they've added, if that's okay with you.
That sounds good.
Sounds great. Thank you.